So we can start. Basically, I want to have a little bit different angle on the view of how the recruitment process is done and how we are trying to recruit the people and find people for our studios. The different angle is that we will basically talk about the business perspective of the recruitment processes and finding the right people and trying to find the perfect match for our studios. Before we go forward, I would like to have a quick chat about the current situation, because the situation is evolving, and actually since the last year and 24th of February last year, the situation is changing even more dramatically, and we are suffering all. But our business is also suffering lack of people. Is it true? Are we really suffering lack of experienced people in Polish game dev industry? Piotrek.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for that question. From my perspective, we don't suffer. We have very talented people here in Poland, and we have a lot of people from abroad. So it's not a problem to hire someone who is talented, who has experience.
Okay, Michał, because we've got example of different scale of the companies. BoomBit, which is big, MATABOO, which is a mid-sized company, and False Prophet, which is a little bit smaller than the
like
others.
A startup company.
So, yeah, we call it startup. So from your perspective, Michał, the big companies, how do you approach to this in the last year?
Well, for sure I wouldn't say that we are suffering for lack of employees or anything like that, because we get like 120 new employees last year. So it's possible, most of them also from Poland, so it's still possible. It's people out there. What's changed for sure, and also from perspective company from Gdańsk, the market is different right now. It's like 4 years ago, the Gdańsk was kind of niche. You have different payment here. If you want to get bigger money, you need to move to Warsaw. But what COVID changed, that it's not like that anymore. Yeah, we on the same space, we fighting for the same employees and stuff like that. So that changed, okay, from the perspective of someone who giving the job, that you need to fight maybe a little bit more to get the employee. But yeah, for sure we are not in the lack of talented people. We are not in the lack of the people in any kind of skill, any kind of level of the skill. It's just the different market out there that you need to fight against, I don't know, companies from US, same as from the Warsaw. This is something new. This is what happened.
One of the questions further on, because actually we are really struggling to compete not only against each other on the market, but mainly we are struggling to compete against the Western companies who are trying to get the people from Poland. Sławek, what's your view?
I would add to that. It's like changed, like with COVID, I believe. Like people started to the remote work started to be normal, or at least not something like no for a big companies. We had in a company situation like 2 years ago or 2 years ago, that our employee got like offer from the US company, not from from KDev, multiplied by 2, just like twice your salary. It's rather hard to beat, but I wouldn't tell that the market is suffering. There's still like new talents are approaching, and new people, I would say even more and more people want to make games and be involved in computer games, like production of that. Obviously, yeah, there's for the veterans, it still depends of the actual market position of the other companies, what the projects are on the horizon, what the other competitors are doing, so that's fluctuating, but the new guys are appearing on the market, so I wouldn't be afraid of that.
Okay, so when we talk that there is no lack of talented people, so why there are always tons of advertisements on the Skillshot and the others? What's going on? Yeah, we don't have a problem.
You want the best ones, yeah.
We don't have the problem to hire people because they're all around the corner. But still, is the market growing? Or we are growing as the industry, so more people is needed? Or it's just a matter of moving the positions on the chess table, like going from one company to another? So what is the real problem on the human or the labor market in Poland? Is there any?
From my perspective, the real problem is money.
Okay.
And the budget that you have for a game and for production. And we can compare our budgets with companies from the West. Like we have twice or 4 times lower budgets here, but the salary is right now on the same level. So we can't do cheap games anymore.
I wanted to come back to this because actually when I was talking to one of the British companies that we work for, and we compared the prices with between the salaries between UK and Poland, for some positions he said, hey, you are more expensive than in UK.
Right.
So, okay, we don't have their budgets, I mean the Western companies' budgets, but we have to pay similar money to our employees. So it means that our revenue, net revenues is going smaller, so we cannot invest more in the new productions, or we are fighting to get bigger budgets. Michał.
Well, that's a little bit different from our perspective because we're working on mobile area and especially as a game as a service, stuff like that. So it's a little bit different. We don't operate usually like a budget or anything like that. And we deliver games globally. So, like, frankly, that was a very big advantage a few years ago that we were, like, from Gdańsk, yeah, we have cheaper employees. At the moment, basically, we're working on the same market. We deliver product globally. We need to hire people also on the same rules like everyone else from Europe. And for us, it's kind of normal, okay, because we don't speak about budget. So I don't think we don't need to look, at least from our perspective, any problem with Polish job market, Polish job industry, especially in gaming, yeah, or mobile gaming. There are a lot of people, you can get those people. However, this is the employee market, and that's the problem with the budget. This is still the moment when the employee might say how he wants to work, for what he wants to do, and then how much he wants to get money for that. So employees, that's the problem. That's why you're looking for so many people, because you need to find very nice fix. You need to find a very good person, because it's not only about money at the end, it's also what this person gonna do and how. And you also need to give it to employee at the moment, because they dictate the rules. Just try to hire someone hybrid and they'll try to tell him, come back to office, now work from office from tomorrow.
Let me rephrase it. So there is very little space for the mistake now employing new people. Because
why you think so?
Yeah.
But why? Why you think
because
so?
Because once you decide to hire a person, you have to pay him normal, let's say normal Western salary, okay, if he will not be a perfect match for you, then the money is wasted. Yeah. So something like 2-3 years ago, when the salaries were lower, you had a bigger gap to make a mistake. Okay, you can spend some money on this person and fail, but at this level of salaries, you can't.
I would say that's kind of depends of the actual business you do. For example, making a few different projects at the same time, with different clients as we do. You could potentially move people between projects, and so they would be like better approach for that project and not for the other. I wouldn't say make a costly mistake. That's the reason of being like making HR all the talks. If we have like going on the same waves, if everything is fine, and how it's behaved as a period, like trial period. So if you don't get the good people at the very beginning, that's like, that's kind of your problem. Obviously, it is possible that someone, got crazy or, through the year, but still, I believe you need to be careful at the very beginning. But costly, still you could spend that money badly, even like, bad project, bad communication.
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't like blame just like someone is expensive. It's depends on the project.
The same question I would like to ask Peter, because actually you are a startup. Sławek is making a couple projects. Michał is doing many projects globally. You are making one game at the moment, or quasi. Yeah? So that's a gamble for you to get the people. Am I correct?
Yes, I can agree with you. For me, it's a challenge because we need to scale the company fast. We started as 8 people in the team 4 years ago. Now we have like almost 70 people working with us. Not maybe full-time, but they work with us day to day.
Not smaller than us, actually.
We are in the peak of the production right now, and we need to hire more. So it's really, really hard when I need to hire someone on quite average or high, more than average salary, because in mind I have that he will spend 3 months trying to get what's the culture of the companies, what's the processes, workflows, pipelines. So it's like waste. We waste the time. So yes, it's quite hard for me.
So we can say it differs depending on the stage of the company, whether it's startup, whether it's how many projects you are making.
Yeah, I can pay a lot for a guy or girl who can start the work right away. Like, we have a problem, that's the problem. Can you do it? Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Anyone? Okay, guys. This segment is closely coming to finish, but I would like to say that we don't have the problem with people globally. There is a little bit distinction between the first entries and the, let's say, seniors, because, okay, there is a lot of new entries coming, and they are not catching up as quickly as possible, as quickly as we would like them to. But definitely, Poland is still employee market.
Yep, I would say so.
Yeah, at the moment, yes.
Okay.
I would maybe add one thing. From the perspective, like from my perspective, the market right now and what we are talking about, even hiring new people and stuff like that, it means you as managers have a lot more responsibilities for keeping them, for keeping good retention. That's the problem. You need to get the good people, you need to keep them, and it means that there is much more responsibility maybe on the side of management of the company. But it's good. I would say that at the end it's good because it makes life of everyone around a little better than if you have this market when the employees are very cheap and stuff like that. So.
Okay. I would like to go a little bit deeper into this first entries future. So, because when we do our job, it's usually required the seniors, mid-levels, leads, and so on. Over the last 2 years, we have been approached 2 times to get juniors. Out of, I don't know how many recruitment processes we've done. So how to get juniors and first entries to the mid and seniors position if we don't hire them? Michał?
That's the tricky part. I mean, from the perspective of bigger company, kind of natural thing is that you have the entry jobs in the company. That are entry jobs that you can go with the juniors, and you hope that they're gonna stay with you for a few years and they will become some senior position at the end. But for that, yeah, it's harder for startups for sure. It's possible when you have bigger company, when you have those departments that work this way, that, for example, usually quality assurance is one of those departments that a lot of very good project managers, designers came from joining the division as a quality assurance. That was for years. It's still like that. What's changed maybe also with the COVID, what make a little bit more complicated for hiring juniors, it's harder to onboard them. Especially it's about how the team is working. If the team is working in one place, it was always easy to get the junior to the team because he will be part of the team. They will find eventually the space for him, what he should do, how he should do, what he's good at and stuff like that. Now, and we find it like it's a little bit harder if you hire a junior, like it's his first job or anything like that, to the team that work remotely or anything like that. We are not extra good at this level with this to get him on board, and that's what also changed, at least what we can see. It might be a little harder even for now for hiring juniors, where we are very open for them through the years. For the last few months, we a little bit more, cautious about hiring juniors and where we are hiring, and if we are really able to get them on board in this department, in this division, especially when we working flexible.
Yeah, I fully agree that basically the COVID and the remote work is basically not helping juniors to get into the industry, because yeah, we need to bring them on board. And the best way is to have them in the office.
I'll add something. Probably I'm here between you guys, if that. Maybe not size of companies, but we don't have actually different departments. Rather, we have different projects, pretty flat structure. But the problem is we are more supporting co-development companies. So we cannot attach too many juniors because they're not pushing project at all. That's one level of, difficulty. So there's like just some number of people we can allocate on that. Like they are not helping, but they are not disturbing. They will just learning. The problem is, as you mentioned, like if you have a remote team and you have junior on site, but we had a different project, like with different, like opposite situation. You have like on-site team with a remote junior. I would say it doesn't work for us, at least. So our, way at now, we are not getting juniors. We are not starting remotely. So just start for at least like 2 months or something on site, or we are not just hiring them. And it's pity, because I do remember I was starting as a graphic artist. I was sitting between two great artists and was just learning how they do, and they are touching the screen, showing me. I can't see that like actually working, including all the Slack stuff and all the bells and whistles. So that's the problem. I think it's a problem for juniors, maybe more than for the company, but they want to start, and they are all this remote work around, and they are not everyone was hiring them because they are juniors and they want to work remotely. So it doesn't work, at least for us.
Yeah.
I think we need to ask a question: who is a junior employee?
Yeah, just a person who wants to start his career in the game development.
Mm-hmm. For me, junior employee is someone who didn't work in game industry before the COVID.
Okay.
So if someone has that experience working in a team, in an office, they are not junior anymore, because they can work in these remote times and it's not a problem. But now when I want to hire someone who wants to start his first job in my company and I have 100% remote work, it's really, really hard. I always say to people like that to go to CD Projekt Red, go to Flying Wild Hawks, go somewhere else, because this place is not good for you. you will not learn anything here because we are not on the spot, like we can't help you. Probably your lead or your senior developer is thinking about something, is doing something right now, and he can't give you that time that you need to learn something. So it's not a place good for you. Go to big company. They have like procedures, they have that HR, management, HR partners, and all those girls and boys working there only to develop you as a human resource.
So we can say that for the first entries, the biggest advice would be, okay, guys, go to the B of the world, yeah.
Or go to the place that you have actually office.
Yeah.
Work
Or go
on
to
site.
the office. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be big.
Yeah,
It
it's
should
not
be
good
like
for you
on-site.
to work remotely. Probably you don't have that environment, you don't have that place, you don't have that desk, and you're not prepared to work in that way.
Yeah, but if we are talking about the business perspective of the labor market and the game dev, I still believe we are, as an industry, still not investing money and efforts, because probably the budgets are not as big as we would like to, into the growing the juniors to the seniority.
Well, I guess that about the time perspective you have as a company, especially because in Poland we very often talking about AAA industries, about those companies doing those very big games. And with those games, it's always a risk. You're doing this project, and what's more, people are joining the project, they want to finish it, they work a few years on this project, and then they want to go to other company. That's kind of normal, you're looking for other projects very often. Because again, it's a hard work, and also you are gambling. On every project is a gamble. Yeah, I'm doing just one game, doing one game, so it's always a gamble. If that was a good pick, if we doing right job, if we have right people, I guess that from this perspective might be not so big time to thinking about developing juniors, like the whole career. If you're thinking about that, if you're talking about 5 years, 10 years, okay, that's quite a long perspective to take. For us, a little bit different, but again, we just starting. For us, it was kind of natural. We have a lot of people that grow with us. It's how it works. However, we're trying to encourage now people also to grow, to change the position and stuff like that, more systematic. But again, we are on a little bit different position, yeah? Where we going as an we have income like month by month. We have releasing the game, you know, every few weeks, and we have our games as a services which are just operatable. So then you are in the different scenario that you can start thinking about that, yeah, that, okay, we are here, we will be here in a few years, okay, what we can do with those juniors, how we can develop them.
But that only proves that if you would like to jump into industry, go to the biggest. They will take care of you because they have enough capacity and resources.
But it's really hard to get there also.
Yeah. It is.
To the biggest companies in Poland.
Juniors is one aspect of the labor market, but the other aspect is quite a lot of people coming from the other countries to Poland. And my question is now, what we as the company are doing or should do to support those people who are coming to Poland. How do you think? What is the role of the employer towards the new coming to Poland, the new developers coming to artists and people who are coming to our industry from East, from West, from wherever country we want? So what is the role of the employee?
Make the place good place to live, to work, and make nice colleagues, and support them, I believe. I mean, it sounds pretty childish, but that's the way it is. Still, there is salary, everything, but someone is deciding to you know, move to another country because of different reasons. Could be work, could be whatever, I don't know, tourism, and make that place for him nice to work in.
Okay, the question came from the last week experience when one of our colleagues from Ukraine, who is living in Wrocław, told us that the companies that he applied to, and they wanted him to jump into their studios, asked him to arrange the work permissions, PESELs, and all this stuff that is this his job?
No.
So for us, as the companies, it's our job to take care of the stuff. Are we doing it normally?
Well, we are doing it, and our HR have a lot of new skills from the last 3 or 4 years. That's a big topic of hiring people, helping them with all the legal stuff, especially in Poland. So yeah, if you want to hire someone abroad, you're supposed to help him with that. And there is one other problem that worth to discuss. If you start hiring people from abroad, worth to discuss the company language, like what is your main language of communication, because even if you hire one person from other country, okay, what now? What you gonna do? Do you pay him for the lesson of Polish and you ask him to start speaking Polish? Okay, maybe it will be possible, maybe not. Most likely you will switch to English as a whole company. So again, that's something you should take under consideration on top of that to even discuss like, okay, but how we want to communicate now.
Yeah, there is not a problem. That's the topic in our company. We are solving that, but simple. We have like many projects. Each project has separated private Slack channel, and the people are there. And there's at least one person who is like not Polish speaking. The whole channel, like everyone involved in the project, the whole communication is switched to English. On the company level, we are doing like everything in Polish, but still, even from the very beginning of existence, like we are the company. We do every documentation, tickets, everything is and tickets like backtrackers, etc. in English. That's because we are lazy and to just not translate if there's another client is approaching asking something. But yeah, but on company level we are not planning to switch to English, but on the channels it's a project by project, so it's kind of response. On our side, but
it is a piece of making their life easier in our country, basically, to change a little bit, to adopt ourselves to people coming from the different countries. Piotr, your company is as a startup hiring people from the other countries, and how do you approach it?
We don't have HR. So we can do something for someone. They need to do it. We can help them. We can say when, where, how. But they need to manage all the things like PESEL and registration, tax number. And so that's the basics. And it's on their side, not on our side. We don't have people who can manage that. On the other hand, when it comes to future, we want to hire more people from abroad, and probably we want to have a producer with native Russian and Ukrainian and Belarusian language, because we want to have someone in the company who can speak in their language in the office. So we need the office, we need someone who can be a producer for them, and we need to create the whole environment for them. Because they can't just join us and then what? Like parties in Polish language, meetings in Polish language. No, we need to create a culture first.
Okay, but in a big companies, basically we can say that they are hiring more and more people from the other countries, and the corporate language is usually English, but yeah,
everyone say that officially, but
officially,
yeah? In every Polish company, like game dev company, English is the main language. But you can go there and walk through the corridor, go to the kitchen, and if you are a foreigner, it's not. Like they will exclude you from the conversation. They don't have something like people from the West have. If someone is not speaking their own language, their native language, they switch like immediately. Even they don't talk with him, they switch language because he's near them.
I think it's something you need to remind people. Yeah, it's like from my experience, it's like not automatic for people mostly like people, joking about something, and it's like not switching automatically. I need to remind. For us, it's easier because most of foreigners are working remotely, so they are kind of not involved in daily kitchen talks or something. But yeah, I agree with you.
Well, that's completely normal. Also, like usually, if you have the tendency to talk in Polish if you are from Poland, yeah, it's kind of natural. Yeah, but basically, if there is someone who don't understand, you should switch immediately to other language that he can understand. Yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree. But as Piotr said, it's a pretty natural for the people from the West that they are switching or trying to adopt the person to the communication when we don't have it. So we have to train ourselves to it. Okay.
So you need to have like good managers, directors who can lead people in that direction if you want, of course. And I think we can say that the problem with English is most of the people from Ukraine right now, let's say about Ukraine, don't know English. First, like 1 million was good when it comes to English. Right now, when you want to hire someone, you need to speak Russian, you need to speak Ukrainian. You need to have someone in your company who can speak in both languages.
Okay.
Because they are very good experts, but they never thought probably that they will be in such an environment in which they need to speak English professional.
It is going to be a challenge for the companies, I believe, because we believe that everyone knows English. So
no, it's not like that.
Not, yeah?
We demand English from Polish people as well, so I think it's more broad problem. So if all the documentation, possibly like communication with the client is in English, if someone doesn't know that, we had a problem that one guy is like, well, do I need to talk with these guys? Yeah. But I don't feel comfortable with talking that, so you have to.
Yeah, and people are afraid to talk in English. They can read, they can write, but they are afraid to talk. So it can be really painful for senior people in your company because they are afraid to talk in English. So they will distance themselves from the new guys and newcomers. And that's another problem.
Okay, I've got one last question in this section, because it is something that basically I'm asking myself always, what can we tell people outside Poland why they should try to come to our country and join the game dev industry in Poland, not in Spain or Sweden and Germany, or Spain would be nice because it's warmer.
There are no reasons, probably.
No, we are awesome. We are awesome.
Well, for sure not weather. I do not recommend that. At least you can try. But after a few months you might have a problem if he came. I don't know. I believe that we still work a little bit different. We have a little bit different mindset. And especially if you work with the Western companies, they are organized very in kind of other way around. I think that we are still a little bit more entrepreneur in terms of the company, how we run them, how we run the projects. There is a little bit more space to breathe. At least that's from my perspective, and that's quite often why people choosing us than some Western companies, where at this level, quite often the jobs are very specified. You should just do that and that. We don't need anything else from you and stuff like that. So there is something different about how we still run the projects, how we still try to produce things. At least I believe in that. And in few times I see that it makes a difference.
Okay, so we can say that apart from being professional, in our work, we are a little bit laid back in our mind, yeah?
I think it's probably scale of the companies still, like the companies are older. I don't know in the
your
UK.
company is laid back, their company is laid back, your company is back. I love you.
But I think like that, I don't mean not all the Polish companies, but to compare the markets, like game dev in Poland and UK, for example, they start on ZX Spectrum or something. The companies are long, they're older, they had time to go through all those falls and rises, and they are just more adult as a companies.
Yeah.
Including those, as you mentioned, like those culture, like English, or switching to the other language, and yeah, in Poland it's like we are not there yet, that they already been, and but the difference I think in Poland and I don't know, let's say Romania, correct me, kick me if I'm wrong, but there was like we have a lot of companies, they are like veterans are kicked out, or they change their mind, they establish a new companies, everything is boiling and still ongoing, right? Like for example Romania or I don't remember, like, or Bulgaria, it was Ubisoft and nothing else, and people to get there, for example, to have like normal position, they need to look around, as in Sweden like a few years ago, or you are good enough to get to the Electronic Arts, and you are competing with everyone across the globe to get there, or you're trying to start somewhere else. We had such a situation that someone started in Poland because he couldn't get a job like 100 kilometers from his town because that's like, he was not good enough.
Yeah, that makes total sense. A lot of startups, a lot of new activities happening around, so yeah, even here.
I was joking. There is a reason. There is no reason to go here like physically, because you can work 100% remotely. So you need to know English, and that's it.
You can be in Spain on the beach and do your code here in Poland. Okay, guys.
And you can go to Spain. It's better to go to Spain probably, and live there and work with a Polish company.
Okay, few minutes about perspective for 2023 and 2024. Because we've got the employee market here. What's going to happen over the next years? 1 minute from each. Sławek.
I don't know. I would. All right. So there's like still like companies are. I kind of found out that especially recently, like. A lot of small companies are just losing because of they're losing like investors. There's some problems on the market, I think. But it's like it will be some kind of integration, like bigger companies will be starting to swallowing the smaller ones, but it's pretty like sinusoidal. Like I can't predict the future. I would like to, but I don't know. I think that we like. Always the same circle of, you have the veterans, they want to establish the new companies, the new guys want to be on board, etc. So I don't see like, except like the rises of all the numbers across the, years, that nothing changes, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I can predict future, I would just go and both, some lottery tickets right now. But if I need to guess, I would say the market will be switching a little bit during the next months. We already see that. There is a little that companies are not so willing to hiring new people like in previous years. It's slowing down. We already see some signals of recession coming. A lot of them, inflation, COVID, war, like all of this hit the global market quite hard. And yeah, we shouldn't be so happy that COVID ended. No, it's still there. I was entering the market in 2010, something like that, when we were in the last recession. And yeah, and I believe that it will be, you ask about juniors, I'm quite afraid that it might be a harder time to enter the market than it was for the past 10 years. It will be harder to get into, but as it comes to specialists, as it comes to people who already work, as it comes to people with experience and stuff like that, for them not a lot will change. Companies will be fighting for them, there will be still their market, but to entry, it will be harder.
Piotr?
I can see the future. I can see the future because I'm a false prophet. So I can say everything right now, and you don't know what's wrong or what's good. I can see the future in which we are working from the offices, not remotely, because it's
again.
not. Yes, again, because someone will say it's better, and they are right probably. Now we can make jokes from Elon Musk when he said that you need to go back to work, but he was right probably. And that's the future that I can see, and I can see the bright future also for juniors and for newcomers to this game dev industry, because we need more people, we need everyone. There is a lot of people that want to go to QA, for tests, because they think that this is the back door to the game dev industry. No, there is a front door.
This is the front door, yes.
Front door is QA, but the window is education, like game dev school. You need 1 year to end the game dev school, and you have a portfolio. So please don't send your CV for a QA junior if you just play games. Take this time and create your own game. Yeah. It will be better, and then send the game that you have already made.
Okay.
It will be better time for you and for us, because the testing games, of course, it's really fun and it can be a passion, but it's something different than playing games. And people need to know that. That's my statement. Because I have 100 CVs on my email box for that role right now.
Okay. So the future is not bright and not dark.
No, it's bright. It's bright.
It's bright.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Okay. Piotr says it's bright. Those guys say that it's okay. It's not bad. Yeah. Do we have any questions from the audience to our speakers? Yes, please.
So what you're basically saying, and I kind of summed it up in my mind, is previously you were talking about how the English language could be a problem in Polish companies. And it's a matter of fact that more and more newcomers, until a certain point, would come to Poland. Do you think that it's kind of a danger for people that are already in the companies, even on the senior roles, where they don't really have those English skills? Because, for example, if you take an example of Sweden that scaled up with the game industry, it's also a matter of fact that Swedish people speak English very well. Would you consider it a problem that, for example, the Polish education system in English is a bit lacking some features, and then that it could be problematic for people that lack this skill, and it would be very important for them to grow in this skill set?
Polish education system lack of a lot of features, and English is not the worst one. However, as it comes to that, yeah, you are right. It is a problem because not everyone wants to switch to start talking to English But yeah, this is where we are. This is when we need to help these people adapt again. This is our job also to help them adapt. But yeah, this is where we are, and we want to change that.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hi, thank you very much for your discussion, very meaningful insights. I want to ask a question because this is something I heard on the previous panel when we were discussing the current state of the market. And let's divide the hierarchy between juniors, seniors, and let's say veterans with 20 plus years of experience. The speaker said that currently the senior position is the one that is the most difficult to get. And the juniors and the veterans are easier to get when it comes to the hirement. What are your opinions on that?
Why is that? Because
it's basically there are a lot of veterans and a lot of juniors and very little seniors here on the market.
Because they probably don't want to move from one company to another. It's like
I think the answer is also in the age of our industry. Because our industry is pretty young here in Poland, but still old enough to create a certain amount of veterans in the small number of companies that has started the industry. So yeah, on one hand, we've got the number of veterans that are ready to move from their hometowns yeah, from their own companies. But yeah, it's like the middle class in every society. You need to grow the middle class to grow this whole society. So we, as in the industry, need to grow the seniors to grow the industry as well. Maybe this is the answer.
My wild guess would be like if you are senior, probably you still see like a lot of space for your growth in a company, wherever you're working, where you're like veteran, really veteran, or you expecting to have like really high management something, or you have your own idea of something, I don't know, don't like something in a company, you want to establish your own, or you just go to another company on some level. Like yeah, it could be like a lot of seniors, they just don't need to move anywhere. They don't see the reason, maybe. Just, I don't know, just an interesting question.
Okay, any more questions?
I've got another
Last
question. Because the natural direction to employ people from abroad is Eastern countries like Belarus, Ukraine, Russia. Do you think in the near future we will be switching to employing people from Far East, like China, India, Pakistan, etc.?
I don't know about Far East. That's, I don't know, it's not happening a lot. I mean, we're getting a lot of CVs, but usually not hearing a lot from this area. But for example, for us, Turkey is one of those markets that we find out that we quite like to work with the people out there. It's kind of similar mindset, and yeah.
And actually, Turkey is the market when the hyper-casual games are the most important. And
yeah, exactly. They grow on the mobile games. That's quite funny, looking from Polish perspective. Yeah.
From my perspective, as a person who is doing the recruitment, I don't believe it's going to go fast. The cultural barrier is still very big. And we will fill the gaps we have here in Poland with the people from Ukraine, Belarus, and Balkans, and quite a lot of people from Balkans are coming.
Morocco.
Morocco.
We have one guy from Morocco.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, the audience. Thank you, the speakers, Sławek, Michał, Piotr. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.